Welcome back to the channel. Thank you, everyone who is returning, and definitely sorry about the delayed post. It's only by a few days, but chronologically and also by my OCD, it is at least a week, more than a week. So, apologies. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay. Fan theory. Some of the fan theories I looked up is first one. Home Alone is actually a Saw origin story. This one was funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was funny. In essence, it does make sense because again, these are fan theories. They will delve a bit deeper in on their own, and you guys can definitely look it up. I'm sure somewhere else it's delved in way deeper. But just for the premise of it, if you look at um, like just how the story is shot, you can see it focuses on a child. And again, when you look at how the Saw films are shot, it focuses on it as a focuses on Jigsaw as an adult. Like obviously he's lived, he's scarred, whatever he is based on. Is based on whatever happened previously, and it really is a good premise for fan theory. Let me know if this one is, how do I put this, is a bit on the nose, because if you look at it, in a lot of cases this happens a lot where one fan theory will connect two different movies that are set completely on its own. But in terms of how they describe how, if you look at the Home Alone boys, because you'll have to forgive me, I really can't for the life of me come to his name now, and it's so funny because it's really not that hard. Colin McCulkin. I know this man. I know him, but I can't get to his name now. But yeah, if you look at how ingenious his traps are, it does make sense why you can connect the two. The next one, it's actually funny. This one was it's an old fan theory, which like okay, enough premising. Manny was going to commit suicide at the beginning of Ice Age. That one years ago when fan theories like just really started coming about, and um, I was getting old enough to kind of look back at older material and kind of have time to or emotional energy to kind of invest in these stories. This was one of the first fan theories I kind of learned of, and at that time it was all over. There was constantly stories of this character was going to commit suicide, but then you kind of get lost in it because it looks like everything is either death or insanity. But this one, I think it's a little obvious, you know what I mean? Because all we know about Manny in the first Ice Age movie is that he's alone. He's the last mammoth or woolly mammoth. I don't know how that's supposed to be said. And then we see him on a cliff. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know where else that was going to go, you know? But yeah, those two for fan theories is pretty nice. Okay. Unproduced, basically pilots. For this one, I actually dug a bit deeper, a little older, further into the past. It's actually funny. So the first one on today's chopping block, it would be APO 923. This one was well, obviously released first back in 1962. The premise is cute. Definitely not something you would be able to do lightly today, but the premise was back in World War II, there was a camp, a Chinese camp, of the way that the bio set it, not just on one site, like on different sites, was that it was not Chinese nationals. So I'm assuming that given the time, it was just people that looked of Asian or Orient descent. So I don't know. It could have been Chinese and Vietnamese and Japanese, or you know what I mean, like a bunch of different Asians in there. But basically, this camp was they weren't, like I said, affiliated with any one nation during World War II, but they also still had to survive. So they would be selling or trading with different camps in the area. So what's unique about this story is that there is American soldiers that come across this camp, and I suppose because of it's just a pilot that we know about, them interacting with the soldiers interacting with the camp was it was supposed to be set like antagonistically, like, oh no, we need to nuke these, Chinese guys or whatever. But by the end of the episode, it is revealed that other Chinese or, you know, other militant forces are here to wipe out this camp. Whereas the American soldiers realize, again, America, good. Don't forget, America, good. American soldiers are like, okay, no, we need to protect them. So automatically, I assume that the point of this show, whether it's just the first season or not, would have been the American soldiers A, protecting the camp, and then B, getting to know, getting closer to the Chinese and realizing, oh, we're all not that different, we all can relate, wah, 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 wah. Now, in terms of a story for now, it's not that unique when you look at certain beats that it's hitting, you know what I mean? But it is unique in its premise across both then and now if you look at within the setting, because World War II stories is not, those have been beaten to death, but you don't always get a mass amount of people on either side. Either those that are indifferent, like this Chinese camp, and also an entire collective like the American soldiers that are now going to willingly work together to defeat a third party. It's usually one versus one or one versus two versus three. Like it's usually obvious the lines are drawn. So I would like this. I like this premise. Um, Next, it's Baffled. Baffled, based in '73, is a little more simple. It's a race car driver starts having psychic visions, and a paranormal expert helps him on the south coast of England. This, especially with it being in '73, is set very Britishly. It's like if Downtown Abbey meets Sherlock Holmes meets, Mentalist. So it's a very unique taste, and I'm pretty sure a lot of current um, crime procedural shows kind of follow the same beat, where the main character is basically psychic. Obviously, in a lot of them, it's not about actual, psychic ability, but the idea of the main character knows something based purely off of intuition. And I think this it's not normal, but this is a lot better done when it's a woman, because yes, you can obviously focus on, oh no, but women can do anything men can do, and men are main characters for how many centuries, it doesn't really matter. The fact that a man working off of intuition hits slightly different when you look at it having an actual root cause. Because if he's having psychic visions or clairvoyant visions, it's coming from a higher power. You know what I mean? When you say, oh no, he's just down to the core of it, he just guesses. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. In the beginning, you don't just sell, um, oh, I'm psychic. No, it's, oh, I have a intuition. I have intuition. It makes sense why this never tracked. But I would have liked to see this if you think about it in terms of, I don't know, just just the mere the occult of it. because the main character, is a race car driver, cool scenes, and then secondly, he's psychic, a little bit of the weird or whatever, and then his supporting character, main supporting character, is a paranormal expert, meaning anything that he kind of gets into, she's already invested in, or she's definitely involved in it. So the two should really play well off one another. You know what I mean? Like, usually you actually have, like nowadays, with these crime procedural shows like Mentalist or whatever, it's usually a guy coming from nowhere that now has to get involved with crime procedure. So getting the bad guy, arresting him, and whatever. You can also look at something as simple as Lucifer. It technically, the job of catching bad guys technically has nothing to do with what you call it, with Lucifer, but because he is, in Chloe Decker's life, suddenly we were gonna focus on him arresting bad guys. Again, the trope isn't here. This not It's not the same. So I would have liked to see it. And then last but not least, 17th Precinct. This one was actually released back in 2011, and I even found the full pilot on YouTube. So props. Um, the premise is very simple, but more than the previous two, I definitely could have seen at least three or five seasons made of this one. So the premise was, science was never invented, and in the pilot episode, magicians, because obviously there's nothing else, there's no such thing as science, there's no such thing as normal crime procedure. Everything is done through magic. But in the pilot episode, the magicians investigate the murder of it's basically a high priest, but it turns out that science was used to kill him. So it's kind of like, in the same way how today we believe in science, not we as a universal blanket term, just the point of normal will always be, science. So universally. Anyway, so it would be like in a world of today where a cop has to investigate a magician committing crimes. So it's obviously on the reverse of that, and the premise is amazing. The first season would be off the walls in just in terms of world building, and if done right, in second season, third season, or fourth and fifth season would have been amazing in terms of the plot twist, world building, breakage, which I feel happens. We actually don't appreciate that enough, because a lot of series, if they get it right to break down the world building that they've done in season one, and they do it in season two, that series goes a lot further than a series that tries to kind of build an era where the first three or the first five seasons are like set to the same beat. Because not all franchises can do that, where they have the first three or five seasons set the same. um, Classic example is obviously Supernatural. It's right up there with gold standard of eras, because you have the first five seasons being by Eric Kripke, being obviously set to one certain tone. Even though there's many tropes that get created and broken, it is still a certain era, still a certain style of filming. And then after it, it's obviously different. But yeah, just for in terms of unproduced films and series, these are great. Some of the things on the internet, eh? There was a girl. Uh, it's not like there was forever ago, but anyway, Bald is Beautiful XOX. She made a funny TikTok that, like, you just have to go check out. Um, she basically is talking about how in a breakup fight, the guy tells her, "Shut up, nigger," and that shit is truly funny, like ridiculously funny. because obviously she's coming from a point of we broke up, and I see it as a point of what the fuck, like it, like she does say like, oh, at that point I should just kill him, and I get it, I get it, I'm with you, sister. Another one is Dojo Cat reacting to Miles. Now, I tried to find this on her file. I wanted to see it from hers because I wanted to tag her. I want to tag her, but like I only see it on everyone else's feed in an edit. But that is truly funny. Um, because he's basically Miles. I don't know this nigga. Um, and I don't think I want to. Maybe it was a joke song or whatever, but it's and Dojo's reactions is top tier, fucking funny. Um, and then the last bit, this one is actually I found this thread on X, and it actually is cute. It is by Frozen Aesthetic, and it's share a piece of lore about yourself. I really did. I found it very cute. It was very cute. So some of the comments underneath were, I shook Pope John Paul's hand before they attempted to assassinate him. My full name is the exact length of the alphabet. When I was 7, a tractor tire ran over my ankle. 40 stitches later, I survived. That one's, I have my own traumatic memories. Um, when I was 11, I was held at gunpoint in front of my front door of my house by my classmate. Everyone under that comment asked for the full story. She did give it. You should definitely check it out. I was at Rick James's 50th birthday party. From where I live, I can see a clear sky every night. I am jealous, but I need to know exactly which city or at least country you're talking about, because like, how jealous should I be? Do you get what I mean? Another one. I was the first person. This one. Oh, okay. For premise, this one I do not understand. I was the first person that didn't work on Star Wars to see Star Wars. Guys, please comment. How do you think that works? Okay, and this one, people are angry that there was no explanation underneath. Hulk Hogan's sex tape ruined my radio career, and that's the only reason I'm a millionaire today. Yeah, the internet, eh? Okay. For this one, I want to try something different. Weird questions. Okay. One, would you rather be a werewolf or a vampire? Now, granted, I know a lot of people will always summarize this down to Twilight. For me, I'd like to summarize it rather down to two different franchises, only because of how the franchises are. For vampire, I want you to think of it as with Blade. So you are still the same level of like strong, but the difference is once you are hit, you are dying. It's not, oh, you may revive yourself in A, B, and C and what. Nah. There's no coming back. Once you're ashing, you're ashes. It's gone. Which obviously makes that means that you have to actually protect yourself. So obviously we can do the whole sunlight and the this and all the classic tropes, sure, fine, but the most important still has to be, if you are busy dying, there's no way to kind of resurrect yourself. Like even Twilight has a good way of resurrecting yourself. If another vampire can start cracking your neck, you can still like revive yourself. Like you basically can heal from it. Not in the classical sense, but yes, you can heal from it. Nah, I don't want that. And then secondly, for werewolf, I want to think of I want you to think more along the lines of underworld where your shift is not, it's not going to automatically make you lose control of your mind, but it is also much like I said with vampires, it's something you can't stop. With vampires, it's, you know, their bloodlust, it's kind of like a cold control. So in the same way, um, they're not switched on or off, you know. But when it comes to werewolf, I wanna see how people are feeling about. So even if, let's say, for instance, you're slightly hindered, you are automatically offset, and you become this, you know, the werewolf, a lycanthrope, you know. So which would you choose? And then for the second question, have you ever tripped over someone and not said sorry? Please, if you're going to comment, you have, give a description. Tell me about it in detail. Okay, now for nightmare creatures, um, today I want to focus on two again. Uh, the first is kind of again a big name, but I again it's so weird seeing it when you research. So the basilisk, it's when you look it up, I get where Hollywood and classic tropes in common media have like gotten their idea of a basilisk, but reading it up and kind of coming down to like to the bones of how how the creature is formed, it's very weird. It is basically a chicken egg that comes from a toad or a snake. Now, obviously, toads and snakes uh, give toads slash frogs give birth differently to snakes, right? So the whole chicken egg part, that I get, because they were obviously talking about an egg. They meant an egg. But then what makes it so much different is that it actually doesn't say that the said egg, or, you know, basilisk, is the same size, if not even close to the size of how the original, you know, toad and or snake is, because they just say that it is a small snake that is king of snakes and venomous, from Cyrenaica, Libya. Like it's just, it's described differently to how it looks in modern media, which is fair. Modern media doesn't need to have a certain or a unified picture of it. It's obviously subjective, but it is weird to think that down to the core of it, it is actually a small snake, because nobody makes it small. Everyone makes it big. And then the second one, second creature of the night, essentially, is the Haiuri. Their lore goes deep and definitely very wide, because it's basically an interdimensional hunter from South Africa. And the reason why I say interdimensional is because A, it is universally agreed upon that a Haiuri or Biblok is, you only see half of the thing. You only see half of their head, half of their torso, one arm, one leg, because the other half is in the other dimension, whether it is a shadow realm, hidden realm, you know, shadow dimension, anything like that. Because when they are hunting their prey, which is in most cases humans, they are go almost unseen, if I can put it like that. So yeah, this is there's a lot of lore there. The things they've hunted in the past, there are stories on it. The things that have hunted them is a big story. It's actually a very nice quote unquote creature of the night, and it's definitely scary. Okay. I know today's episode didn't have the classic film adaptations, mostly for two reasons. One, I'm currently in the process of moving, so I don't have access to all my books. Most of that stuff is packed up, so it's up to you to kind of wait that one out when I get my books packed out again. But secondly, because I do want to focus on what I mentioned in not even last week, the week before's episode, and I really wouldn't mind just in this time that we are both holding each other's hands and being patient with one another, glances in stare, that if I can read out The Night Circus and He Who Sips with the Devil. Look, there are other novels I can kind of give premise to, but I figure since in this time we anyway are kind of being patient with one another, I really wouldn't mind um, just kind of focusing on those two, kind of giving a quick read through for the film adaptations time. So again, seriously, to those who want to do listen to it, who don't want to listen to it, give me your very strong opinions on it, and I will hopefully see you guys again next week. Bye.